Hi, this is Jared. Continuing on with the kind of divorce story here that ultimately led to me kind of losing my kids. That I'm trying to, which is ultimately the biggest reason I'm making these videos, is to one, to show, kind of just talk about it and let other people know that this is just a shitty situation that people have found themselves in. That I'm sure other people have found themselves in, that our justice system doesn't care about dads in general. And two, it's also two because I put together a GoFundMe to try and raise money to appeal the decision to, yeah, make the reconsider some of the evidence. The judge in our divorce trial threw out a huge piece of information. He threw out a very expensive mental health evaluation that I went through and did, that would have shown that I was a lot better mentally, and then cited my mental health as a main reason for taking my kids away from me. So I don't know how it gets much more corrupt than that. Disposing of evidence that's like pertinent, like 100% to the reason why someone's kids are being taken away. So I'm kind of doing it for that, to making this to kind of raise awareness, and to hopefully, if anybody watches this and wants to donate, please do. I just would love to have more time with my kids, and I think that the trial is done very poorly. I think Judge McCarthy in that city of Grand Forks, North Dakota, is incredibly biased towards moms. And as I'll linked on my other places, that county in general is just very biased towards moms in general. That moms end up getting like full custody like 90% of the time, or 80 or something, some ridiculous amount, and dads are like 10 to 20. So yeah, just kind of a garbage situation created by, yeah, just kind of a garbage set of circumstances. And then lastly, I'm also making these just so that way my kids someday, they're too young, uh, but someday can, you know, while it's all fresh in my mind and I'm just feeling it, I guess, make a very thorough log of the ways their mom just totally screwed me over in like every possible way imaginable from the time that she decided she wanted to get a divorce. As talked about, she basically blindsided me with that. You know, I knew we didn't have like the best marriage, but I didn't realize it was about to fall apart. We, as I mentioned, were, did family activities, went on dates, were intimate within the week before she decided this. It's not like there was a falling out at any given point that just uh, signaled to me that this was going to happen. And so she, yeah, laid it on me. I was devastated to the point of mental health crisis. She reported me after a intense drive one morning because I was just very upset emotionally. That she would still wasn't even trying to let our family stay together, and yeah, just kind of everything kind of just fell apart from there. And she would then go on to use my mental health against me in every possible way. So she reported me. So it starts off by she reports me to basically social services. She says it was through another agency who told her, "Oh, you got to get out of there." But that's probably because she just was like, "Oh, my husband's crazy," and I think she was saying that I put them all in danger on that ride. The like 5 to 10 minute car ride that we took to everybody's school and work. That there was just such extreme danger to everybody that she portrayed that they advised her apparently to leave the house immediately. Um, it's I don't know how it possibly could have been construed that way. It was just such an extreme exaggeration of what happened that morning. But because she just says anything she can to make me seem unhinged and crazy, She was able to get that advice, and which allowed her to take the kids out of the home. Um, Ever after that, she removed them from our marital home, at that time apartment. Uh, they never came back. They never lived in that apartment again because of that report she made that morning. Um, and that report then got passed on to social services, and in the subsequent month, 1 to 2 months, I was investigated to see what type of parent I am and what my issues were. Um, she, while I was gone, a couple weeks later, she and her parents, we'll get to that in a moment, came and cleared out the apartment completely of everything that was had basically any value except that were just very explicitly mine, like my computer. And she had, as I kind of mentioned before, kicked me out of the master bedroom. She'd hoarded a bunch of items in there. She'd bought a safe and put stuff in there. Um, and during my shift, took everything that was in that room and just left. She didn't tell me that she was going to do that, that she was never going to return. Um, Apparently, she was staying with the boys in hotels ever since for a good week, 1 to 2 weeks after she left. Um, she told me she was staying with a friend, so she lied to me about where she was going to be at. Uh, yeah, it was really just a shitty, shitty situation. I had my kids removed. Uh, so shortly after my wife had abruptly left me, so devastated all over again. Cleared out a lot of the apartment, left all the garbage in her room. Just took the things that were, but didn't clean up or anything. Didn't help clean a single thing, even though her parents were here and could have helped her, and she had, two more grown adults help, out here helping watch the boys and all this. No, she still left the apartment just a complete disaster for me to clean up. This was a three-bedroom apartment that she had insisted on we getting when I was wanting, something smaller. Um, and I just bring that up because it was a lot to clean. I ended up just not cleaning her room because that's I'm not her caretaker. She had abandoned her place. She should have cleaned it when she left. So so then there was for the next month ish. I had been considering getting my own place, but because I didn't take her ultimatum at a McDonald's one night, uh, she basically picked up and left instead, leaving me alone in a three-bedroom apartment by myself for a month, which was just horrendous. It was the just most despicable, saddening thing I think another person could do to someone who had loved and trusted them. So she broke my heart. She took my kids shortly after, and then left me alone in a giant apartment that my whole family had been in just a month prior, um, just days prior. I mean, it just all kind of happened, yeah, very quickly, and it was just haunting. It was it was the saddest, loneliest, most just horrific circumstance I've ever been in. She, yeah, just totally abandoned me, totally left me for dead. She cut me off financially the second I had a job of my own, even though we had came here for her travel job where she was making lucrative money. Um, and that had always been our arrangement. But no, the second that I had started my part time work or PRN at Red River Behavioral, which now doesn't exist, then she just left me. Yeah, she was okay with me being on my own. That was all she needed to do. Um, that sucked. While I was being investigated, she basically made it incredibly difficult for me to see my kids, our kids. She never let them come back to the apartment. That was too dangerous until a little later when social work social services had had a chance to kind of like interview me and kind of approve me, so to speak, that I was not crazy. And so in that meantime, I requested, she denied multiple, many, many times. The only way she ever let me see my boys was if I came to a public place at, which in this case was always McDonald's. It was just close-ish by. There was a playground. It's good lighting, just nice place to have a snack. And I either one or two times a week, depending on if I could get Brittany to ever agree to just come and let me see my fucking children, then yeah, that's the only place I would be able to see them. So, I mean, to her credit, she let me stay with them for like a few hours each night. Um, they always begged to come home or to come back with me, or begged to have me come with them. Um, and she always was very adamant, no, that's not happening. One time, Ty had kept begging, and she threatened to put him in timeout. Instead of working with our child in this horrendous, horrendous experience that she has put all of us through, she instead just knuckles down and tells him to get with the program, basically, and that he'll be punished if he keeps asking to spend time with dad. So that was horrible. Um, yeah, she was a monster through basically this entire process. She had no qualms using my mental health against me. She had no qualms ripping the children from their home and would continue to do so. She actually just moved again like a month ago. So in the past year, she's made them move like 7 times. Might be more if you include the hotels. So she went from a hotel to another hotel, I think, to an apartment, to another apartment within the same complex, to a different apartment like half a mile away. Then they moved to Fargo, and then since they've been here in Fargo, they've moved to a different apartment within the same complex. So they've basically had no stable environment with her this entire time. She keeps changing everything on them um, because she had to change jobs and we had to move away from Grand Forks. Uh, we, yeah, had to now switch to Fargo, and Ty still talks about kids in his grade that he misses seeing, that he misses talking to. I thought we were going to stay in Grand Forks until she just, I mean, to her credit or benefit of the doubt, it sounds like she could not find work because she's highly specialized in Grand Forks anymore. So she had to come to Fargo. But it's still a drag. It's still uprooting our children again, this time without their dad. Uh, and just, oh, so I was out of their lives, but her parents were more than happy to come move in with her the second she decided it was over. Not the second it was over, but the second she decided that it was an emergency that she had to leave the home. So her parents came out from California or Oregon or Washington or wherever the hell they were living at the time. Like, it's hard to keep track because they don't have a home really. They just kind of go from place to place wherever they can get cheap or free housing at this point now, because they don't have incomes enough to support them in any particular place, mostly because they keep moving for, as Brittany would say, to support her, to help her with the family, even though I didn't realize that's what they were doing. She never said that. They never said that. I never asked for their fucking help. And if I'd known that that's how they were perceiving it, I would have told them to piss off. Um, Sorry, it just makes me mad that the way they've twisted things, and maybe it's very possible they just twisted things to sound good in court, that they were always there to save. But basically, I thought that she was thought her mom, Nanny, was just always there to help and just to enjoy time with the boys. Her dad generally doesn't care. He's just always doing his own thing. So it's really just her mom, I thought, just wanted to spend time with her grandkids. Almost just an absurd amount, you know. But some grandparents like to be around their grandkids all the time. Whatever. I wasn't judging. I was just it's a little judgy, but like it was fine. She wanted to be around the grandkids, and that's fine. Yeah. So, so the second that she had to move into a hotel, they came out here. I didn't find out who was watching. So she would go to work, and she wouldn't tell me anything. She wouldn't tell me where they were. She didn't tell me where my kids were for weeks. She wouldn't tell me who was watching my kids for weeks. It was just disgusting. I was just in despair. I'd lost my whole family. My ex was keeping all information from me, so that way I just had no idea what was going on with my family. Come to find out later, I guess right after she moved out, Ty became violently ill. She never told me about that because I was dealing with my own problems. So she took my children and didn't tell me about issues that were going on with them, and basically just totally ripped me from their lives, and has continued to do so ever since. Um, at these McDonald runs that we would do maybe a couple times a week if I was lucky. Um, so it was, we live in Grand Forks, North Dakota right now, or did, and this was in the middle of winter, and it was always below freezing, and sometimes it was below zero. Um, we only had one car, and in her escape, she took that one car, and basically, I was always just like, can you pick me up? Can you once I got there, because I could at least take the bus there to McDonald's. I would ask if she could just drop me off, if I could just ride even in the back with the boys, and just the like 3 to 5 minute ride home, because the sidewalks were covered in snow and it was just horribly cold, and she always told me no. She never once let me back in that car. Even to retrieve items that were mine, she never allowed it. I went and did it at one point just because it was my stuff, but she always got in the way and prevented me from ever entering our family vehicle ever again. The one that I found for our family, by the way. I found this vehicle. I found the decals that represented our family. A bunch of pineapples on the back. I thought it was cool. It was great. She removed my pineapple, and it's now three. Yeah. So she's cool. She's vindictive, and by that I mean vindictive and heartless, and just absolutely just the most horrible choices for me and the boys that she could make at every point. She did. Just super trashy. Her parents, didn't let me know. It was like a month after they were here, after the social services thing cleared up, and they found that nothing was needed to be done, that she finally started letting me know a little bit at a time, such as who was watching my kids and what was happening even in the slightest. But it was a super dark time, and it was supported by our legal system, even though she had no proof of any of the things that she talked about. It was just her just trash talking me and getting me thrown out by just saying shit about me. That was it. That was all she had. And I'm not saying that there was anything to have. I've been a decent dad. I've never hurt my children. I've been a good dad. I've always been there for them. I'm not a drinker. I'm not a druggie. I was always there. I would, get us out on family outings. I don't know. It all seemed massively overblown and just to kick me out of, remove me. And it was disgusting. And yeah, maybe talk about a little more kind of how it went afterwards. Um, yeah, yeah. If you want to support me, actually, if it's still up by the time you see this, just go to the GoFundMe that I have linked below and support my appeal. Thanks. And tell you more later.